I liked how he says, "Are you ready?" and then he's not.
I'm definitely ready. What do you mean? All right, we're live, fellas. We are live can get. Maybe, possibly, might be live.
But how
Sometimes
live
live.
can live get?
Kinda
Is the
live.
question.
We're about to do our week 7 predictions. I'm gonna just go cry in a corner somewhere, because we got a bye week this week. The Baltimore Ravens do, and that's kind of sad. I don't know what you do during bye weeks, but we'll talk a lot about it. We're gonna talk about what the heck's going on with the NFC East. Are the Eagles really the best team in that division? They might be. They might possibly be. I don't know anybody else who's worth a darn in that division. Also, we're going to talk about, are the Pittsburgh Steelers actually frauds? And also the Chicago Bears, are they frauds? We'll talk about that as well. But other than that, we got plenty to talk about, plenty to discuss. DJ talking right now. Adam will be here. Casey will be here. Justin will be here. But before that, we gotta let y'all know what's going on in case you never heard the show before. So we'll be right back.
Let's get it.
Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic.
And your new.
And we want to punch Jim Cornette in the face repeatedly until he bleeds because he's stupid.
They're fat. They're fat.
We will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
All right. We are live and in living color. The flippity dippity is back. Maybe. See, it's funny though, because we're just gonna talk for a second, since Casey's attacking me personally, about my intro and how it's old and we need a new one. But I mean, Casey still says flippity dippity. He just doesn't look like that anymore. It just makes him look younger. That's all it is. He just looks like he's 12 years old in that one. That's what he's mad about. He's mad about looking 12 years old, guys. That's what it is. It's definitely Casey being mad about looking 12 years old. But we're going to talk everything about week 7. We're going to talk about, of course, the Ravens and our unfortunate bye week that I really don't want to live through. We're also going to talk about the Colts and their almost loss to the Bengals. Almost. I mean, we can talk about our almost loss to the Eagles too. I mean, we can discuss that. We can discuss that. We can talk about how the Chiefs are not as good as we thought. Oh, they won. Oh, okay, never mind. And then we can talk about the Browns. Maybe they aren't as good as we thought they were. I don't know. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Most certainly. But week 7, bye week for the Ravens. I'm sad. Casey, yes?
We can confirm, though, that indeed the Jets are who we thought they were.
The Jets are definitely who we thought they were.
And do you know what? Yep, just end the season. That's what it stands for. The worst team in the NFL.
Just end the season. I mean, I think they're just tanking for they're tanking for Trevor. That's what they're doing. But yeah, real quick before we get into the full discussion, if you are listening to us on any of our listening platforms, be sure to like us on Facebook so you can watch us live. You can also follow us on YouTube in case you just like YouTube better or something, or maybe you don't have Facebook. You can, we'll be on YouTube as well. If you're on Facebook or on YouTube and you want to listen to us on the road, you got a long road trip or something, and you want to just listen to us crazy guys talk about football for a little bit, or wrestling or whatever we talk about, then feel free to go on the Anchor app or go on Spotify or go on, just Google us and you'll find a listening platform that you can listen to us on, and there you go, because we're Googleable. I mean, we just need to, I'm going to make that a word. I'm going to make that a word. It needs to be.
What did you say? Googleable?
Googleable. I mean,
if
Googleable.
If back-to-back weeks, we come up with a new superlative.
So
we got back-to-back weeks of new superlatives. Googleable and betwixt.
Can we start a merch store and have shirts that say Googleable and betwixt?
Need it. Casey, you're the merch guy, so I'm gonna need you to get on that.
I got you. I'm
gonna need you to get on that. But nonetheless, first off, let's start with week 6 and the crazy things that went down. One of the more surprising ones I don't know if it was the Colts almost losing to the Bengals or the Browns getting demolished by the Pittsburgh Steelers and making me really sad. Like that, like Adam. I mean, I can't lie to you. I was really sad. I mean, I was extremely sad. Why? I didn't even get to watch the game. I just looked at the score and I was just like, "Yep, where my
Well,
Browns
then you
at?"
had a better day than me.
I was not gonna lie. I was really sad. I was surprised by the Colts, but I was sad because Pittsburgh gets to talk one more week. But anyway, we'll keep it with the Ravens and the Colts real quick. Yes, Case.
Side note, anybody know how to spell betwixt?
Betwixt. No, no idea. No idea. Don't know how to do it. But anyway.
No, I die. No, I die.
If anyone knows, please hit us up on Instagram or Twitter, because I need to know how to spell betwixt, because I don't know.
But I'll start with the Ravens and then we'll go to the Colts and then we'll go to the Browns since it was kind of surprising. I think Adam has a lot to say. Then we'll go to the Chiefs because it was not surprising at all, and Justin probably doesn't have much to say because I mean it's the same old Chiefs, you know. But the Ravens almost coughed it up against the Eagles. I was on pins and needles. It's weird though. I'm gonna be honest. There was part of me that was really part of me that wanted to say, let's let the Eagles get this 2-point conversion and let's see if we can actually win when the game's tied. But then there was another part of me that really didn't want to lose the game, and I was like, please just stop them right here, thanks. And they did, and I was a little bit happier with that particular situation. Yeah, to me, I think the bye week probably is coming at a perfect time for the Ravens. 5-1, plenty of things to work on in terms of the offensive line looks terrible. The receivers can't get separation against a terrible defense. The defense looked pretty good. I mean, let's be honest. Carson Wentz literally closed his eyes and threw the football up and got like 2 touchdowns out of it. So, I mean, it's pretty crazy to me. Adam, did you have a point on that?
No, really, all I was going to say is, like, to me, the final score, in terms of it was to me going to be the same outcome regardless. But you just highlighted there, Eagles should have never been in that game. A couple of those catches were some of the luckiest fluky plays ever, and it's going to happen. But I mean, you take away a couple of those plays, it's still 28-14, 28-17. Or whatever it was at that point, whatever. So I wouldn't be too. Yes, there are some things that were a little, I guess, not cause for concern, but does raise your eyebrows a little bit from that game. But yeah, I watched the highlights of that game. I was like, he did literally, like Miyagi putting the thing, the thing around his eyes and says, "You'll be beginner luck," and just like to me, those were just some fluky plays. I wouldn't have too much concern there.
And one of the reasons I'm not terribly concerned is because we are 5-1, and like if you can win ugly games, a lot of times it'll get better as you go along. I mean, I think even Justin can attest to this. I don't think the Chiefs have been eerily impressive the last couple weeks, but they're winning the games. Well, not the week before last, but at least this week, and even against the was it the Patriots that they faced that they won? Like even that one, I don't think they looked like they were clicking on all cylinders. But when you're winning, win's a win, especially in this league, especially in COVID season.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that 100%.
But yeah, I mean. In terms of the Ravens, I mean, I think the bye week, hopefully, I'm hoping there's some moves made for maybe a pass rusher would be nice. Maybe a good receiver, but I feel like they haven't been using the ones they have properly yet. Like, I think they need to let Hollywood run, like, I call them Tyreek Hill routes, where they just let him run across the field and just use his speed and get open. Or he just kind of just lets Lamar break contain like he was doing in the game against the Eagles. And once Lamar breaks contain, he finds a way to get open. That's what Tyreek Hill does a lot of times with Patrick Mahomes. Where Patrick Mahomes just waits and waits and waits, and Tyreek Hill's fast enough to blow by anybody to get open at some point, and Mahomes delivers it to him. So I'm hoping that as a Baltimore fan, I see more of that. I still feel like there's a lack of depth in the receiving core, but I think Devin Duvernay is really good, and he's shown some flashes of really good things with the punt return, an end around. I think it was last week. He had a pretty good play this week to get a first down. So it's like there's some good things happening. The run game will never be as bad as it was against the Eagles. The Eagles were pushing people around. Gus Edwards was falling backwards, and I was like, who is this the Gus bus or is this like the Gus car in neutral? Like, what is going on right now? Like, I was a little confused, but nonetheless, I mean, I'll take the win. Hopefully, they make some moves in terms of the bye week. Ironically enough, last year during the bye week is when they made most of their moves and improved the team to what they ended up being by the end of the season, with the exception of one game that I just will never forget about until the playoffs come, or at least until we play the Titans later on in the year. I will never forget about that game. But nonetheless, that's my Ravens report for everybody. I'm gonna kick it to Casey and let him kind of talk about what he saw in the Colts Bengals game and how he's feeling. And feel free. I know everybody's kind of muted and unmuted and whatnot, but feel free to chime in at any point if you disagree. Because I mean, I'm gonna definitely say the Colts are fraud. No, I'm kidding. But but nonetheless, Casey, how are you feeling about the Colts against the Bengals and going into week 7?
Well, we have a bye, so gives us a little bit of a break.
So you get a nap week.
Yeah, we get a nap. And kind of like you said, I think it came at a perfect time. I think I feel like around week 7 is always a good time to have a bye. You're kind of starting to get beat up. You're starting to get tired, fatigued. Kind of gives you that little bit of a break there. As for the game, I didn't really get to watch until halftime because I got a little bit busier than I thought I was going to, even though I had the day off. But apparently, the first quarter or the first half was when Cincy decided to be a football team and play the game, and I was like, wait, what? I was just looking at the score. I was like, wait, did they get the score guy? They just mixed it up. That's what that. Nope. Since he decided to play good, and I was like, what? But we came back. It wasn't a strong comeback. I won't say, but we squeaked it out there. We got the win. At the end of the day, that's really all that matters. They say a win's a win's a win. I will give credit, where it's due with different people. I do think that Phillips kind of helped, leadership and kind of bringing them back, along with a lot of other, aspects of the team. It's not just a one person thing, but we were able to, rally and come back, and now we get a bye week. And we'll see what Cincy does. We'll see what we do when we come back from the bye week. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. We're all gonna have close games like that. We're all gonna have to come back. There's always gonna be teams that are gonna blow really big leads. Falcons. But yeah. I mean, I'm happy with the game. I'm not too disappointed. Yeah,
except
You know
for
them
last
Cowboy
night.
fans.
You mean the Cowboys week 1 to 4?
As you alluded to earlier, saying that, these last few weeks have kind of been a little rough for us. Like, we have been playing, like, up to our normal. Like, Patrick Mahomes hasn't been throwing, like, for a whole bunch of yards these last few weeks. And we've just been a little off lately, especially our defense. Our defense needs to step it up, especially, like, we cannot stop the rush. I mean, we just can't. And our secondary needs to step up also. Also, our rushing this week, we had 225 yards of rushing, which that's the most in Patrick Mahomes' era. Like what? This felt like a whole different team. Like Clyde Edwards, he had 161 yards. I go like, man, this man's for real. And he's not a very big running back either. And
he runs like he's
I just wasn't.
Henry. The dude runs like he's huge.
And also, we just added Le'Veon Bell. I mean, last week, like we were talking about Le'Veon Bell, and I was going like, what if he goes to the Chiefs? And I didn't think they were actually. I didn't think he was actually going to go to the Chiefs. And to be honest, I thought he would have been to like Miami or Chicago or somewhere like that. But we want to run it back. We running it back this year. I don't know.
I don't know about all that, Justin. We can stop.
I think I'm talking too much right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Chiefs are a great team, but they're not the flawless team that I'm gonna close my eyes on and say that they're this perfect team or anything.
Yeah, I have to agree. They're not flawless right now, but like there is flaws with our system, and we're gonna fix out those kinks. We're going to fix up those kinks here.
Because, just when you think you're clicking on all cylinders, Justin, Tampa Bay comes in. And, anyway, sorry, Packers. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, man.
The Browns. I mean, are the Browns just not as good as we thought they were, Adam? Because, the two solid teams they played, Adam, just happen to be AFC North teams. It just means the division stuff. That's all that is. What happened?
Yeah. So as you said, I obviously have a lot to say. I mean, and you just said it, perfectly too. You could argue, maybe with the exception of the NFC West, the AFC North is the best division in football. Especially with the records in the 1, 2, and 3 spot. But I mean, there's really not much to say from Sunday, in terms of schematically and this, that, and the other. But to me, it was more what Pittsburgh could do rather more than what we couldn't do. Their game plan was flawless. Stop the run and make Baker throw. And the other thing that showed Sunday was the Browns are better than what they've been, but they're not at Baltimore or Pittsburgh's caliber. They're not there yet. Yes, and I don't want to necessarily say a pass, but they kind of got a pass in the Baltimore game. Your first live contact with a team that's not your regular players during practice was against Baltimore in a new system, new coach, et cetera, et cetera. My issue, it was, you thought that you would close the gap between the dominance that Baltimore and Pittsburgh have had on you. And we had been chatting this week. We can talk later of the helmet swinging incident, but like that game, up until those last 8 seconds, that game, you bullied the Steelers, and I haven't been able to say that in years. That like they were more physical. They had a game plan. Yes, Mason Rudolph was playing racist. But it's just the fact that they weren't even competitive. And when Baker threw that first pick six, I said, this game's over. The one thing you absolutely needed to do, you needed to take your shots, but you cannot turn the ball over. You cannot turn the ball over. Not to mention, don't turn the ball over early. And it was eerily the same play that Baker threw a pick on in the Baltimore game, where Queen came from the other side of the field to tip that ball. And then bloop, Mika Fitzpatrick, who had been silent this whole year, gets the pick six. I'm like, all right, here we go. And really, in the first quarter, the defense was actually holding them pretty well. That first drive, Pittsburgh only gets a field goal. I said, that's a win. Because they were just moving at will, and they held them to a field goal. So I'm like, okay. Then, boom, pick six, 3 and out. Browns get the ball back, another 3 and out. I said, all right, here we go. The defense is giving you a chance, and you're not capitalizing. And they were just blitzing all day, every day. And, because obviously it's more and more apparent that, Baker is not the most efficient pocket passer. He's better outside of the pocket where they're having him shift left or right or do those play action boots, et cetera. But yeah, the Pittsburgh just had a phenomenal game plan and they executed it perfectly.
Is Pittsburgh really that good though, Adam?
That was the question going in, because they were like number one in like 15 categories, like not even exaggerating, like 15 categories defensively, and in rushes, sacks, blah, 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 blah. But they hadn't really played anybody.
Right.
So that's why I was like, this is going to be the best offensive line that they have seen all year. Now, as I brought up last week, I mean, you still have to go execute. I know there were some guys that were banged up, but having Baker with the sore ribs, Wyatt Teller being out at right guard, nothing against Chris Hubbard. He used to play for Pittsburgh, so he's familiar with them, but he's playing at a position he never played. But either way, I don't want to make it seem like I'm giving excuses for him. Again, just Pittsburgh, it was just a absolute dominant mauling. And they're, and I'll say, like, I would say they're definitely a top five team. I mean, their defense, they've done that 3-4 defense for 40 years. All they do is just interchange the pieces, and they run the same concepts every time with a few wrinkles. But also, another thing that got highlighted Sunday was, boy, do they miss Nick Chubb. Because as good as Kareem is, it becomes more and more obvious what they're going to do. So all you have to do is just stack the box and boom, plug the running lanes. And nothing against Dearness, nothing against Dontrell. They're more than equipped to try to be a different option, but they miss Nick Chubb. He is the tone setter. But they unfortunately they won't get him back until I think the Texans game. But the next stretch that Cleveland has is going to be big. For one, you have to come back and beat Cincy. That is absolute paramount. It happened last time. They got stomped by the Ravens. They had that good showing Thursday night against Cincy. Now you've got them back. Now this is a completely different Cincy team than it was week 2. Even though Bengals are not showing it in the win column, they are playing better with Burrow. Now, Burrow still has questionable decision making. Same time, I think the coaching is not doing him any favors, but that's besides the point. But this week is absolutely so important for them to come back and again just look right. That was the other thing too. Was yes, Pittsburgh was dominating them defensively, but nothing looked right. And of course, everybody was highlighting Odell's slamming his helmet down and then, quote unquote, yelling at his teammates. He was trying to fire his teammates up. But that's the product of being an NFL star. Is you're going to get all the attention in that regards, and people are going to twist it the way they want. But go ahead.
And to play off that point a little bit, somebody said this. It might have actually been you and I had talked about this a little bit, but I heard it from somebody else too. It's like, it all depends on who fires, their fans or their teammates up. If it's somebody like Tom Brady, oh, he's passionate. He wants his team to win. If it's somebody like Odell or a person of color, let's be honest. Oh, he's so aggressive and blah blah blah. Like, stop.
Exactly.
Just
Exactly.
stop.
And that's the thing is the camera is going to find him, and the slightest thing can be taken in the wrong context. But the sideline reporters and the players themselves all said he was just trying to fire up the team. Like, guys, we're better than this. Da 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 da. He was being a good teammate. But the other thing that was happening that day, especially on Twitter, is that of course once again everybody was trying to abandon ship in the Baker column. Now, this is what I will say. Does everybody, if you're a Cleveland fan out there, are you having dementia and not remembering that the Browns were once 1-32 in a couple of years stretch? Baker single-handedly has more wins than what the Browns have had in the previous 5 or 6. So I think we need to tone it down a little bit. It is okay to be upset what happened Sunday. Absolutely. But at the same time, this is still a 4-2 team. We were 2-4 last year, and the sky was falling. After the week 1 loss against Baltimore, the sky was falling. Again, 4th coach, 4th offensive scheme in 3 years. You have to let this play out. And I don't want to. Yes, you're starting to turn the corner, and there should be more and more signs of progression. He's not there yet, but I do think this scheme fits him better. But hey, Green Bay just got their ass kicked. Should they bench Aaron Rodgers? Josh Allen was in the MVP conversation 2 weeks ago. He hasn't had the best showing the last couple weeks. Is all of a sudden they need to abandon ship on Josh Allen? Baker didn't play good on Sunday. But who on the Browns did? It was just across the board an ass whipping, no matter how you look at it.
And to kind of add to that as well, first of all, Adam, I sent you something on Facebook Messenger that I think you'll find entertaining. But I'm not a Browns fan, like on the inside, seeing everything. But and this is going to be a weird parallel, but go with me. Browns fans, from what I see, remind me of TNA/Impact fans, where like the smallest little thing happens and they're like, "Oh, abandon ship, we're going out of business. Sell the team. Like, chill." Like, for example, with Impact, somebody will leave and they're like, "Oh, the company's ending." And that's been going on for like 15 years now. But like with the Browns too, they have one bad game and we're done for the rest of the century. It's like, calm down.
Yeah, per that logic, which you just said, that is Dixie Carter logic too. If the previous week they decapitated Sting, the following week he's not there, and they were down 1 point less, the sky is falling. We got to bring Sting back. He doesn't have a head. He's got to come back. He's got to come back. Staple gun that shit. So, but yes, but that's that, and I understand Cleveland fans. I understand. We want them to go on this incredible run where we just tee off 11, 12, 13, 14 win. Again, we're not, as I said last week, we're not there yet. We are better than what we've been, but we are not there yet. You have to let this play out. Right now, from here to the end of the season, they have the easiest schedule. You have to try to squeak out at least one of those wins against Pittsburgh and Baltimore. That is paramount. You have to compete for sure. You have to compete with Tennessee. That game. That game is more worrisome for me than anything else. Although that's going to be a revenge game for Cleveland because of what happened week 1 last year, where the Browns are still committing penalties from that game. And but Eagles, that's got to be a win. Jacksonville's a win. Jets is a win. Giants is a win. The Eagles, they've shown fight. That's the big thing with the Eagles. They have shown a give a damn. But they've lost Zach Ertz now for the next 3 or 4 weeks, which I believe that it falls in line for when we play them. But either way, the first order of business is you have to take care of business Sunday against Cincy.
Well, like you said too, and I put this on kind of the Bears are an organization that I put that similar, like the sky is falling, like we gotta find somebody else. The Washington football team is another one of those teams that, like, I mean, Dwayne Haskins was in for about the time that I walked away to get my water and come back. Like, I don't understand it. Number one, you spent a high draft pick on the guy. Stick with him. If you lose with him, you lose with him. It's all that's a lot of what the NFL is about. Number two, to Mitchell Trubisky, you changed the whole scheme on him after you had success with the scheme. That's it. That's an issue. Stop changing the scheme on a player who is built for that scheme.
You know,
They changed.
I do like that
they changed
scheme of
quarterbacks
things.
when they were 2-0.
I do like their scheme of things over there in Chicago.
Justin at least likes the scheme of things. Okay.
Nah.
But yeah, like it's like, explain to me why you are not like building around these quarterbacks. You spend these high draft picks on these quarterbacks. They have no wide receivers, no running back, Dwayne Haskins, no offensive line, Dwayne Haskins. For Mitchell Trubisky, you got rid of his top running back. What do you expect him to do? You got rid of his top running back. Like what? And then even Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is another one that, like, people are like, oh my goodness, we gotta get rid of Carson Wentz. Number one, Carson Wentz doesn't have a number one receiver right now either. Alshon Jeffrey's been hurt for like what, half the season, if not the whole season. Like, he just lost his running back. He has a terrible offensive line. Has had a terrible offensive line his entire career. What the heck do you expect the man to do? And he's still out here throwing touchdowns. Like, what do you expect the man to do? I want to know.
Well, and also to kind of, go off the whole scheme of things, not to say that more just to get, Justin happy, but like, it doesn't make sense in general that you like, if your quarterback is good in a certain scheme, or is more of a runner than a passer, or more of a passer than a runner, it doesn't make sense that you would change the scheme that helps him. It's kind of like, and again, I'll bring a parallel of pro wrestling. If somebody is good on the mic, you're not gonna expect them to have 5-star matches. If somebody is better, is more of a technical wrestler, I'm not gonna expect him to do Hurricane Rana, or a frog splash or something. You work with the strength of your talent. That's how your team wins. And for wrestling, the team is the company. For football, the team is each team. So you work on with your quarterback strengths. You work with your receiver strengths, your running back strengths. And
to point out what you were saying, Casey, it was interesting because looking at Lamar Jackson and the offense that the Ravens run, and me seeing it firsthand, of course, because I watch all the games, like, they're not forcing him to be more of a passer than he needs to be. It's a slow progression. Yes, they may have him throw the ball 37 times, but they're having him throw the ball 37 times when the game's in hand, and you know you can run the ball and get 5 yards a pop on it. So like that's what I feel like. As much of the criticism that Greg Roman does get, at the same time he deserves a lot of credit because you see who you're playing. You know that you're going to beat some of these teams on your schedule, whether you run the ball 30 times or you come out here and pass the ball 50. You know you're going to beat some of these teams. So, with that being said, why not open up the offense for whoever your quarterback may be and allow them to progress at what they're struggling at in the games that you're definitely going to win. Now, albeit all teams don't have games that they're just definitely going to win, and I understand that. But at the same time, for the teams that do, the Bears know their defense can take them to a win at worst. Anyway, they have some games in that division that they can definitely win. Detroit is one of them. Detroit ain't beating nobody. Well, they beat one team, but I mean, they ain't beating nobody.
Well, and another thing too, and again, sometimes good teams get blown out by another good team, and that's I think the other thing to consider too is if what happened to Cleveland on Sunday, happened to somebody say like Jacksonville. Yeah, I mean, no, like seriously, and that's where I was going to go with. It's like Aaron Rodgers. They were up 10-0, and you thought they were just going to cruise. Then he throws a pick six, then throws another interception. It was not very Aaron Rodgers like, but they got beat 38-10 by a really good team. So it's like it happens. It's okay. If you're a fan of that fan base, it doesn't feel good. But again, like good teams blow out other good teams.
Exactly. I think with that being said, I think we can move to week 7 and get into the picks portion of the show today. But real quick, Colts and Ravens don't need to worry about losing at least this week. There we go. Boom. That's a win. That's a win. They're on buys.
Yeah.
Dolphins and the Vikings, I guess we can add them in. The Finns get the win, or at least they don't get the
loss. The Finns get the wins. Hey, Tua is the starter. That's a win.
Tua is a starter when they come back. I thought he was a starter this week, but actually I didn't know they had a bye. But that's actually probably good for him to take reps with the first team for a whole additional week before he gets going. And it was so cool because I love Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was so cool to me how Ryan Fitzpatrick was so happy for Tua to come in. That was amazing. This is a guy who has had the highs and the lows in the NFL. And I mean he's had some pretty rough times, but at the same time, this guy is still happy for a guy who he knows is going to take his job. Like, commendable is all I can say. Adam, did you have something to say before we get into the pick?
No, I was just going to say I was a quarter right in the fact that I was like, what if Tua came in and just mauled the Jets, but he came in for like a handful of plays. But I will say this. I already have it in my back pocket because I made a post on this on Facebook when Alabama faced Clemson in the national title game a few years ago. When he threw a pick six, I said, Tua threw it to another player.
Terrible.
That's bad.
It's better than Rammy Hammy.
It's better. Everything's better than Rammy. Anyway, let's hop into the Browns Bengals game real quick. No, I'm kidding. The Browns definitely win this game. I don't see the Bengals winning this one. I really don't. I think they're gonna put up a heck of a fight. But I think the Browns are gonna be a little upset how they played against Pittsburgh. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Browns on this one. And we did say we were gonna talk about the Myles Garrett thing, didn't we, this week? I guess we can just kind of give our thoughts as we're talking about this game. Maybe that'll help. Maybe that'll help with that aspect.
And I think we're gonna do it like an overwhelming rivalry discussion, but that was kind of the germ of it was that incident. But I mean, nonetheless.
Well, I mean, I think and real quick because we haven't gotten too into the picks, so there you go. I feel like that situation was weird because you don't know what's being said. You don't. Yeah, I mean, of course, the entire field is practically mic'd up, and nobody's mic'd up in that situation. Okay. But anyway, we're just gonna close our eyes on that one. Um, it was interesting though, right? Like it was like the whole situation. Like I was like, whoa! I remember watching it. I was watching it live, and I was like, what just happened? Like this game is over. What just happened? Obviously, from my perspective, and I think Casey and I talked about this last year when it happened. Um, I felt like Miles shouldn't have taken it that far, but at the same time, I felt like on another hand, a lot of times quarterbacks are the ones that are like the wimps, right? They're the wimps that they're protected and all of this. And I felt it for me for what I saw, it felt like Mason Rudolph was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna take this," and like that's why he came charging back in. That's why he got up and like acted like he was gonna do something. Like he was like, I mean, not that I think he could take Myles Garrett. I mean, you put them in a parking lot. I just don't feel like I don't feel like Mason Rudolph comes out of that one. But I mean, I felt like it was one of those situations where it was kind of like it was too much, but at the same time, I felt like I wasn't gonna sit there and be like, "Oh man, Mason Rudolph should just lay down and be a quarterback." No, like if you feel like somebody did something to you, you buck back at him, in the same way. I was surprised that they didn't suspend Mason Rudolph in some way, or they really didn't discipline him at all. I don't think. I think he got benched eventually, but they didn't really discipline him at all, which was benched for not even the situation. So it was kind of like a double standard. If you felt like both were in the wrong, albeit Miles in the wrong a little bit more with swinging of the helmet, of course, but like give him a game or something for just being too much. Like I get it. It's supposed to be this rivalry, of course. Cleveland wants it to be a rivalry. They've been a little bit out of it for some years, of course. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's personal. And who was it? Casey, I think, said something. Casey was talking in the chat where we were talking about rivalries and how like sometimes they blow the whistle at literally nothing when it's a rivalry game and you should let them play a little bit. Like
Yeah. And what I was saying is like, it's the old saying, like, this isn't ballet. This is football. Guys are gonna get hit. Guys are gonna get the wind knocked out of them. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get injured. It's gonna happen. But especially with like rivalry games, when the tension is already built up so much from the rivalry, let them play. And then even I added too, like there's been plays, not necessarily in this season or last season, but in general, where like there'll be a late hit, and it's not always necessarily an intentional late hit. If you have a 250 to 300-pound man running full speed, it's not that easy for that dude to stop like right away, right when the whistle blows, like. A quarterback's gonna get hit accidentally a couple times. Like, come on, let it go when when it needs to be let go.
Right. Any thoughts on it? Any you want have any input on the Rudolph Garrett situation from last year?
Uh, Not necessarily. Just again, tensions get high, emotions get high. But kind of another point that I made. I don't know if we were talking about this or we were talking about something else, but like just in general, if you're gonna get fined, or if you're gonna get suspended or whatever, I think for each offense, whether it's an unnecessary roughness or whatever, the offenses should all be equal. Tom Brady shouldn't get less of an offense than a lineman just because he's a name, just because people know him. Because then you're gonna be like, oh well, how come he only gets, 1 game suspension, and this guy did the same thing and he gets like 3 game suspension, or, why did he get ejected from the game when he was only given a warning? It's just, it should be equal. And I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Tom Brady. I don't care if you're, on the practice squad. It should all be the same because you're all NFL players. You all should be held to the same standard.
Well, when Jalen got the fighting with whoever it was that he got the fighting, I can't remember if it was the very end of that game either. But
Golden Tate.
Golden Tate, was it the very end of that game? Was it the end of that game? Was it over?
Very, very end. Very end.
Like they didn't like eject Jalen Ramsey for the 2 seconds that was left in the game. I guess typically the punches, like you said, it's kind of the star power of it. He didn't even get. I don't think he even got suspended or anything. It was just like yeah, that's Jalen Ramsey. We're just gonna let him play. So I mean, I don't know. But Justin,
and there's some guys that are just more aggressive than others that we've seen in recent years. So it's like some guys are just going to be more aggressive, and you should know this because you kind of scouted them in college. Some of these guys were even scouted in high school. It's like if this guy has always been aggressive, let him be aggressive. Like, yeah, try to tone it down a little bit, but come on.
Justin, any thoughts? Because I know Adam. I mean, we're gearing up for Adam's main event promo here. So.
Oh, about the Mason Rudolph and Myles Garrett thing from last year. It's football. The Browns, they haven't been good in so many years. I mean, you expect them to snap it at some point. Not to do that though, but it's a rivalry game, the Steelers and the Browns. Expect tensions to go flaring a little bit, big rivalry games, you expect to see some hits go round for round, So, but you don't need to go, throw your helmet at somebody's head when, they don't have their helmet on. But
yeah. And if you do, make sure you hit them. What?
make sure it be the Patriots. Make sure it be Tom Brady when you do that. No, I don't wish it.
We like Tom now.
It's Tampa Tom. Get it right, Tampa Tom, baby.
We love Tampa Tom now. Okay, we love
Tampa Tom. It's Tampa Tom.
Tampa Tom.
Tampa Tom, baby.
I really want Tom to endorse a tampon company, so it can be Tampa Tom's tampons.
Terrible. Terrible. Adam, if you can, get your wits back. What?
So, no, that night, like I said, that was such a joy to watch up until the last 8 seconds. But because, like I said, they were bullying them, they were hurting them. Even granted, again, it was they threw a flag on the play, which should have happened. Juju got headhunted by I forget who the corner was, but it might have been Demarius Randall when we still had him. But like I said, they were outclassing them, and they were more physical. They were everything. The stuff that had happened to Cleveland the last 20 some years, it came out in one night. But again, for 59 minutes and 52 seconds. But my instant reaction was, oh, why do we got to do this? Why do we have to, this is going to ruin, this is going to be the story more than the win, which is exactly what happened. But they show the melee going around. I'm like, oh, Pittsburgh's just being a bunch of whiner because they actually got bunked out for the first time. But then they show the replay on what happened. and my jaw dropped. But when when Miles came out with his story on why he did it, it it took me aback a little bit, because here's the thing: Miles is he is a silent assassin. Low key, not he's not a big fiery rah 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 guy, but he is just he is a bulldozer, but he's even keel. I mean, the guy likes always talks about dinosaurs, and he reads poetry and this, that, and the other. He had gotten a little bit of the moniker of being a dirty player, which I found laughable because he got a few roughing the passer calls. I'm like, it's not Indomitian I'll stomp on you, Sue, or Vontez Burfict, which he's just clipping guys in the skull left and right, which Bengals fans always say, when a guy gets that many fines because of that, he goes, that's a little ridiculous. I'm like, but he got that reputation. It's the same thing with Sue. He got that reputation. So each game, those refs are saying, buddy, I'm going to try to give you a little bit of rope, but at the same time, if you drill somebody in the head, you're gonna hear about this, and I'm gonna throw a flag. It's as simple as that. But when that happened and Miles came out with the explanation, I have to take his word on it, because he's never had any issues like that before. My biggest problem, aside from the night happening, well, a couple of things. One, Mason Rudolph took no responsibility for that incident. None. Zero. He played the victim. Sam Jackson called him out on Twitter as soon as that happened. I said, buddy, you can't cry foul and then try to come back and then you swing a punch like a girl. But with that being said, Miles, and he said it right after the game, he should not have reacted the way he reacted. But his reasoning called it a question. And you mean to tell me the NFL had no microphone, no audio, nothing? There's thousands of pictures out there where they had the guy on the sideline with that plastic orb over the microphone. They mic up everybody. This is the reason why I think nothing's ever going to come out about that, is that the NFL loves the Rooney family, who owns the Steelers. They love them. They don't want to admit to the fact that a white quarterback called a black defensive player the N-word. They don't want to admit it. Now, the other thing, too, there was also, if you remember, there was another melee. When after that happened and Rudolph is still going after him, Larry Ogunjobi comes from behind and pounces Mason Rudolph. Now, the Steelers guys go after Ogunjobi. I didn't think. I thought it was a little shitty that
Pouncey wore him out, didn't he? Was that the
yes,
right?
He did.
I was like, whoa.
But you know what Pouncey did? Pouncey owned up to it. He goes, "Hey, I was backing up my dude, and I'll take whatever fine throws my way." And I said, "Okay, as long as I get the sentiment in that factor. My quarterback just got hit, yada yada yada. But Mason Rudolph played victim. Woe is me, when he had every much of an involvement as much as Miles did. And Miles has remained consistent with his story. He never did the I didn't know what I said. He said no. He goes, I heard what I heard, and that was. And I had many of arguments with Steelers fans, as you would imagine. I said, take away the incident. You don't like the fact that you finally got punked out, and then that unfortunate thing happened, which leads me to my second point. What was Mike Tomlin doing? He just got sacked the previous play. It was 4th and infinity with 8 seconds left. Who cares if you got a miracle touchdown? The game was over. It's Thursday Night Football. Take a knee and get the fuck out of there. You put your quarterback in that predicament.
Yeah, once Miles said his say, I was like, okay, because at first I was like, I was on Mason's side because Mason is the quarterback, and not that he's a great quarterback or anything, but like it was just like I felt like they were trying to punk Mason, right? It felt like everything, and the way they spun it, it was like Mason, 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 Mason. Was it really? Oh, Mason got hit in the head with the helmet. Mason, Mason, So I think that's why. And even watching it, I mean, you don't know what's being said. You just know Myles Garrett swung a helmet. That's about all you. That's about all you can see. So once Myles comes out, especially like you said, with Myles being silent, Myles being one of those guys who kind of just handles his business and goes on about his business. You kind of think about it a little bit differently. But yeah, crazy. Definitely was a crazy situation. Like you said, with 8 seconds to go, it was crazy. But back to the Browns and the Bengals game for this week. Like I said, I picked the Browns. No, not the Browns. I picked the Browns. I don't know why I was. Yeah, I picked the Browns. I definitely picked the Browns. Casey, Justin. I mean, is anybody gonna go on a limb and pick the Eagles? Not the Eagles. The Bengals. It rhymes. It definitely rhymes.
You know what? I will go out on a limb, and for this particular game, I will pick the Eagles to come in and just they're gonna throw the Bengals out, and they're gonna
video record the game. They're gonna get.
I mean, I'm personally going with the Browns, but if Justin wants to go with the Bengals,
I'm going with the Pringles. The Pringles. Nah, these Pringles are going to get smashed in this game.
I'm going to go with the goldfish, the snack that smiles back.
Shut up.
That's the Dolphins right there. That's the Dolphins. Because they be smiling right now. They be smiling back.
Adam.
No, but I got the Dolphin. I mean, Dolphin.
Yeah, we're just all over the place at this point.
Yes, the fans get the win.
No, I got the Browns here.
Okay, at this point, I was about to say, you know what? I'm going to go with Ray Finkel. No, but anyway, yes. No, obviously, yes.
Einhorn is
But yes, I'm definitely going Cleveland again. It is paramount that you come back and have a major bounce back. And I'm sorry, Cincy fan. Again, this is a get right game for Cleveland. I mean, now yes, Bengals are going to give them a fight, just like they did week 2. But even with Chubb being out, this is a game I think they need to give Dontrell or Dearness Johnson a little bit more involved to take some of the load off of Kareem, because they are working Kareem. Now, I mean, Kareem's good and he's tough, but and obviously big time too. But Baker's got to have a good game. Baker's got to have a good game and just get some plays where he can build confidence, and then things will open up from there. So no, not a blowout, but again, a solid, convincing win for the Browns.
All right, and to the Chiefs game, which is the Chiefs and the Broncos. I think in this game, Drew Lock proves why he's the starting quarterback of the Broncos, and I think he's gonna. I had to make sure this wasn't an Arrowhead. I think he's gonna win this game against the Chiefs. I think Drew Lock is going to prove that the Broncos are actually some competition for the Chiefs this year. I think the Chargers are too. I think the Chargers are real competition. Justin Herbert is finding his way, I think. But I think Drew Lock's really I really like Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock a lot. I think he has a lot of confidence, and I think he plays relatively well.
But do you really like Drew Lock?
I do like Drew Lock. Drew Lock box. But I'm going with the Broncos. The Broncos upset the Chiefs this week.
Drew Lock box. What are we doing?
Lock Box, lock him up. Casey.
I mean, Adam. To be fair, after last week, are you surprised anymore?
I'm very surprised. Okay, I thought this was a professional podcast. Did y'all ask me to be? Oh, I can't say with a straight face.
We are the most professional. We're professional in different ways. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the Broncos.
All right, we're making Justin really sad today. Adam, are you gonna make it a 3-way sweep here for the?
Hell no. You guys are trying to smoke the hopium with Drew Lock. To me, Drew Lock is the drizzling shits. I cannot. I do not get the praise he gets. To me, he is not that good. I throw him in there with Danny Dimes. Right now, he's Danny Petties.
If you were gonna say Sam Darnold, I was gonna get really upset at him.
Yeah, come on. The poor old Opie up there in New York. But no, I gotta go with the Chiefs. I mean, with Le'Veon's is another great weapon with them, and we didn't even throw them in as a possibility. It made sense, but I just didn't think that they would take in that contract, whatever. But I mean, and like they've got Allaire, so Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so be it, whatever. But you know what's better than having one great running back, two great running backs, And no, they're not lighting the world on fire, but at the same time too, they get a lead and they don't have to do much more. Then they cause teams to chase, which leads the Chiefs defense is not the greatest, but I put them in with like the Saints Super Bowl winning team and the Packers Super Bowl winning team. They're opportunistic, where they make the right plays at the right time. So yeah, but anyway, I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Justin, it's on you.
I mean, my way, the Justin way.
You gotta go
where
with
I pick guys,
division.
but twins to my division. That's the new word. Look how I spell it. If anybody
look it up, it's Googleable.
It's Googleable. Hey, Casey, make them t-shirts right now. Are you making them right now? Start to create them t-shirts. No, but I have to go inside my division, outside my division, around it, and essentially back to my division. No, but the Chiefs are going to win here. I mean,
so you're picking
hopefully,
the Broncos, because technically,
I'm picking the Raiders. The Raiderade, baby. I'm just kidding. Nah. Even though they did beat us this year, that's our only loss. Nah,
so,
my Chiefs win here.
That means that the Broncos can beat you. Anyway, moving
forward. No. Like Adam said, Drew Lock is the drizzling shits.
What? Drew Lock is the only reason the Broncos are worth a darn. What do you mean?
Nah. No, he's terrible. I don't get the hype.
I'll give the defense a little credit. I'll give the defense a little credit. Little smidgy.
The chefs.
I mean, and like Adam said, when our defense needs to step up, we step up. Like we did last year in the playoffs. We had to stop Derrick Henry in that Titans game. We stopped him. And in the 49ers game at the Super Bowl.
Here he goes.
We stopped him when we needed to.
Here he goes.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm
gonna come get that man.
I'm hopping off my high horse. I'm done.
He's coming back down to earth now. Thursday night football: Giants versus the Eagles. Well, I already said, are the Eagles the best team in the NFC East? I guess this may spark into an NFC East discussion. But I love the freaking Giants. I don't know what it is about the Giants, Danny Dimes, and
Danny
never Saquon Barkley, unfortunately. But I love the Giants. I've been picking the Giants since they were terrible and they had Eli. I have been consistently saying the Giants will win the division. And here come the Cowboys. Here come the Eagles. Never the Giants. So, with that being said, and I think I picked them the year the year before they drafted Danny Dimes, so that shows my record. Uh, I'm gonna go with the Eagles because I just think the Eagles are gonna win this division. I do not feel as if the Eagles are as bad as they look. I really don't. I think Carson Wentz is a good quarterback when he stops playing so scared. I know he's had 2 knee injuries. I understand. I understand being scared. When he stops playing so scared, he'll be fine. When Alshon Jeffrey comes back, he'll be fine. When Miles Sanders comes back, he'll be fine. I think the Eagles are going to win this division because I think Dallas is absolutely terrible. I love Andy Dalton. Don't you dare get me wrong. I guess because he's from the AFC North, I try to cheer for him a little bit when he goes somewhere, right? But I want Andy Dalton to do well. I really do. But man, they look bad against the Cardinals. I want to put the blame on Andy Dalton, but let's be honest. Zeke fumbled twice. That defense looked like the toilet paper you get out of Dollar Tree. I could run through that. Like, it was terrible. Like, get out of here. Dallas's defense is awful. It's so bad. Like,
you just had a great opportunity to do a an old Jimmy Valiant promo. Who must have been it? I'm not cheap toilet paper. I take crap off of nobody.
But Eagles. I gotta go with the Eagles, man. I want to go with the Giants. If the Giants win, they win the division. No, I think the Eagles. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. It's a safe pick, I guess. In a game of in a week of teams with 1 win, it's a safe pick. Oh, Adam. I know you don't like Danny Dimes, but I love Danny Dimes personally.
But again, he doesn't have a lot around him. But again, the guy has like 18 or 19 career fumbles lost in a year and a half of starting. I thought he was a reach getting picked that high, and that's the thing is if you're gonna go with and develop him. It's the same thing what I was gonna say with. This is gonna sound after the fact, but just like the Bengals knew that their offensive line was a liability. At this juncture, I would have not have started Burrow so early, just because again they're getting him creamed, and it's because of the O line. If they realize that, hey, that's right, we have Joe Mixon, and they're starting to use him more. But anyway, again, this division just makes me sad because here's to kind of jump ahead a little bit. I do not want to happen what happened with the Saints a handful of years ago. Seattle hosted a playoff game, winning the division at 7-9, and the Saints had to go there.
Was that the Beastquake game?
That was the Marshawn Lynch run. Now, again, a great moment, incredible. Again, any given Sunday, blah blah blah. But there's no conceivable reason why the NFL can't change that. Is even if you win the division, there's no reason why you should host a playoff game when your opponent has a better record than you. But anyway, like I said earlier, the Eagles are showing a give a damn, which I think is crucial in this juncture. Wentz is not a bad quarterback, but I do feel that he has regressed. Injuries aside, I don't know what it is with his decision making. And yes, you have a bunch of guys out, et cetera, but I just feel that, like, man, I don't know. And I think I put a lot of the blame on Peterson. It's like he did not know what to do with him when he came back from injury because he's like, oh, my God, I don't have Nick Foles. What am I going to do? No, you picked this guy number 2 in the draft for a reason. So you obviously have a lot of stock in him. Yeah, but anyway, I don't know how this game is going to go. Eagles could blow out the Giants. Then again, it could be flip-flopped, and I'll eat crow on Danny Dimes. He still sucks. But anyway, I'm going to go with the Eagles.
He's better than you think. Casey.
We talking about Danny Dime sucks. What? What game were we talking about? The wonderful NFC East. So let's hold on. I just got to look and see who's really gonna win this division. Yeah, can we go with nobody? Can nobody win this division? Because your best team in this.
Casey, if we find 11 more guys, I mean not 11 more guys. I mean if we find a couple more guys to get up to 11, I think we can make a team, and we could just enter in.
We could, and
all we need is 7.
The sad part is the team with the best record is the Cowboys. So we either got the Washington football team, who is going to win the division, by the way, at 1-5. The Giants at 1-5. The Eagles at 1-4-1. That's still, I can't get over that. And the Cowboys at 2-4. 2-4. Oh my! I don't. Giants. I guess. The refs. I'm going with the refs. That's it. Nope. That's it. I legitimately don't know how to pick that game. It's like throwing shit at the wall and neither of it sticks. It just falls down the wall. This is what this is.
You mean it's like Marco Stunt versus his brother?
I really like Marco too. Come on, man.
Justin.
Oh man. This train wreck of the AFC East. This is what this is. Oh man.
It's the NFC.
Yeah, that's what I said. The train wreck of the NFC East.
You said the AFC.
I said NFC.
It's the Twins. No, it's the AFC. It's the Twins. It's the Twins.
I'm pretty sure I said it. I got these headphones on. Sometimes I can't hear myself talk. I don't know. Whatever. Jeepers. DJ, why do you call him Danny Dimes? Why isn't he Danny Dollars?
Because he throws dimes. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, a dime isn't that good. A dollar's better.
In football terms is actually pretty good. You can't literally.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean,
like, we ain't at the club. We on the field. We ain't at the club.
I mean, you're not wrong about that. But he's actually Danny Pennies, to be honest with you, because he's this garbage. He's straight dumpster juice. Dumpster fire.
Monopoly money.
Cheapers. I don't know. Give me the Eagles here.
One day y'all gonna look back and be like, I told y'all. I'm gonna be like, I told y'all that it was like that.
You know, DJ, the first week I was on the Danny Dimes hype train, okay? I was on it. But I'm just not
the
now.
dude lost Saquon in week 2. He never gets to play with Saquon. Are you freaking kidding me? Who is he throwing the ball to? Me, Adam, and Casey? Like, get the heck out of here.
You put some respect on my name, okay?
You put some respect on my name.
Listen. If I got a good quarterback, I could catch one.
If you can't catch to begin with, it don't matter how good the throw is.
Oh man, I knew I shouldn't have had that popcorn.
I mean, if he hits me right between the numbers, there's a chance.
I knew I should have had that Butterfingers.
Steelers versus the Titans. The Steelers are frauds. I'm a firm believer that the Steelers are frauds. I guess I'll see next week. But I think the Titans are actually pretty good. because like we've said before, they stick to their identity and they don't go away from their identity. They know Derrick Henry's the best back in the league, and they're gonna run with Derrick Henry. And Ryan Tannehill's due for 2 or 3 touchdowns too, because you gotta fill the box to stop Derrick Henry, because he will run past you like it's nothing and run you over, Josh Norman. But anyway, Titans win this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are frauds. I want to see them play real teams first before I believe. I believe in the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Don't you dare get me wrong. That defense is like that. But I don't trust Pittsburgh. I really don't. And that's not because I hate them. That's half because I hate them. Look, Pittsburgh.
It's not because I hate them. It's half because I hate them.
Pittsburgh are absolute frauds. They're terrible. They're not a good team. They think they're a good team. And here come Pittsburgh fans. Steelers Nation. They're worse than Justin. They're worse than Justin saying, Chiquina, baby, Chiquina. They're worse. They're far worse. The Steelers are frauds. They lose this week. Titans win the game. Adam.
Oh, I don't know how I follow that up. Whew. I will say this. I don't. Yeah, their offense is not as explosive as people would like to think. I mean, they're not asking Ben to do a lot, which is smart on their part. The one thing I will say is I want someone to just crack that Claypool, because I'm tired of them giving him the cute nickname like they're playing off of Megatron. He's from Canada, so they're calling him Mapletron and this, that, and the other. I'm like screw you. I'm already sick. I'm already sick of it. Yeah, again, I do think Pittsburgh is good. This is their measuring stick. You know, because again, if they get blown out, I better hear the same energy like what my fan base was going about Baker about this freaking team. But and you mentioned Tannehill. Tannehill right now statistically is a top 5 quarterback. They're having him asked to do a little bit more than last year, whatever though. But he is efficient. He's accurate. And again, they know their identity and they don't steer away from it. And Vrabel is a cerebral assassin. He is Triple H. He is absolute Triple H. Did you see the goofiness he did with taking the 12 men on the field penalty to save 40 seconds? Again, he is the one Belichick disciple that is actually using that stuff properly to other teams.
You're trying to tell me Matt Patricia isn't a good Bill Belichick?
Matt Patricia's buying another fucking pencil for his little pocket on his field jacket. God, it's another embarrassment. Yeah, so like I'm gonna go with the Titans in this way. I mean, I think they're on a roll again. Apparently, COVID makes you a Super Saiyan, and I think they're gonna I won't say curb stomp her though, but I think they're going to be more physical than Pittsburgh. So yes, Titans. Ain't no Tannehill high enough.
I will, before we get into Justin's we get into Justin's pick. I'll tell you this: I will give the Pittsburgh Steelers credit on this. They have some very good third string wide receivers. Deontay Johnson, very good at third string. Chase Claypool, very good at third string. Juju Smith-Schuster, a very good second to third string receiver. Anyway, Justin.
Give me the Titans.
Easy peasy. Casey.
I'm gonna go with the team that's from the Tennessees. That one.
Wait, there's 10 C's?
He's going with the only 10 he sees. Moving forward. The Cowboys.
There's 10 C's, though.
Jeez. Come on. NFL. Do we got to do these games? The Cowboys versus the Washington football team. Look now.
Wait. Hold up. Is Dak playing though?
Dak would not
Damn,
be playing.
you had
No
to do him dirty like that.
No matter how many times you ask, Dak will not be back this season.
No, I'm just checking. I honestly wasn't
but
sure.
he did send a shout out, so that's good. I mean, let's
Did
be
anybody
honest.
see the picture?
What picture?
No, finish your thought, and I'll get to that in a second. Go
I
ahead.
just want to say